Rock fans were devastated to learn on October 6, 2020, that Eddie Van Halen had passed away at 65 years of age following what his son Wolfgang Van Halen described on Twitter as a long and arduous battle with cancer. Over a career spanning several decades, Eddie Van Halen helped revitalize the hard rock genre, inspired a generation of music lovers, and contributed to numerous memorable moments in pop culture history that often extended beyond the scope of the musical stage. Putting aside the timeless songs co-wrote and performed with his namesake band, Eddie Van Halen performed a classic guitar solo on Michael Jackson's Beat It, had a voice cameo on Frasier, and was immortalized as a stop-motion rock and roll hamburger in 1985's Better Off Dead. That same year, the rock star made another, more obscure addition to the world of cinema when he was included in Back to the Future. Director Robert Zemeckis' sci-fi adventure flick that made Michael J. Fox a household name made everyone realize who really invented rock and roll, and made hundreds of millions of dollars at the box office. However, Van Halen's quote-unquote appearance in Back to the Future was so subtle and unconventional that it may have stuck right by you. In case you're rusty, the scene in question shows franchise protagonist Marty McFly sneaking into his then-teenage father's room in the middle of the night circa 1955, hoping to scare him into action with some science fiction skullduggery. Dressed in a hazmat suit, Marty places a pair of headphones over his sleeping dad's ears, then puts a cassette tape into his Walkman. The tape is labeled Edward Van Halen, and the accompanying electric guitar wailing that blasts out when Marty presses play and wakes his father certainly lives up to the name. When the elder McFly asks him who he is, Marty quickly responds, "Silence, Earthling." Then he answers and says his name is Darth Vader. For years after Back to the Future's release, fans wondered whether the real Eddie Van Halen played the music heard on the Edward Van Halen cassette tape. Speaking in an on-the-fly interview with TMZ in 2012, Van Halen confirmed that it's true. Those are his awesome 80s guitar riffs you hear in Back to the Future. The guitar legend never made a big deal about his contribution to the iconic film. He called the recording just a bunch of noise, which, to be fair, it is, but it's still one of those fun Back to the Future details that are hard not to love. While he didn't provide the guitar track for Johnny B. Good, that was guitarist Tim May, or kick in on the songs by Huey Lewis and the News, Van Halen did indeed play a part in exploding the eardrums of Crispin Glover's young George McFly, and that deserves some serious applause in its own right. Eddie Van Halen wasn't the only rock star to make a subtle appearance in Back to the Future. Huey Lewis of Huey Lewis and the News appears as a judge when Marty's group auditions for his school's Battle of the Bands competition. Unfortunately, Huey has some harsh criticism for the group.
Hold it, fellas. I'm afraid you're just too darn loud.
Then there's Flea, the longtime bassist for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. He shows up in both Back to the Future sequels as Marty's longtime frenemy Needles. In a less subtle cameo, ZZ Top performs during Part 3, playing the 1885 Hill Valley Fair. A young Elijah Wood also appears as a kid trying to play an old arcade game in Part 2, but that wouldn't exactly count as a celebrity Easter egg unless you had some kind of time machine. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about great movie cameos are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.